First chapter, introduction. Overview on test automation. Overview on test automation. See, first topic, disadvantages of manual testing. Disadvantages. Manual testing. Tell me, Rajiv, you already working in QTP now? Rajiv.
Yes, sir.
You already worked for some projects using QTP now?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what are the disadvantages of manual testing? Tell me one or two disadvantages. See, general topic.
Right. So human, it's prone to errors because.
General topic and interview point of view important. Some concepts working point of view, some concepts interview point of view. Okay. Can you tell me? You put mute. Can you tell me, Vijaya? What is your full name? I don't know. Vijaya. Tell me. Vijaya. What is your full name?
Vijaya Lakshmi.
Vijaya Lakshmi. So tell me, Vijaya. What are the disadvantages of manual testing? Tell me one or two disadvantages.
I think one biggest disadvantage would be when you want to do regression, it would be time consuming. So if you have something automated, then that is much easier.
Okay, that is one of the disadvantages of manual testing. Any other? Okay, cool. Put mute. Tell me, RP, any other disadvantage of manual testing?
It's not reusable. You have to do it over and over.
Okay, that is also one of the disadvantages. Vaishali, any other?
It's fast. It's not fast.
Not fast.
Manual testing is not fast.
Not fast. Okay. Anmol, after taking inputs, I will explain. Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, Anmol, disadvantage of manual testing.
Human tester perform error or repetition is stopped.
Okay. See, okay, put mute, I will explain. See, first disadvantage, important one, it takes more time or more resources, human resources and environmental resources. More time, it takes more time or more resources. Sometimes both. That is one disadvantage. Next, another one, tedious, less accuracy. Why? Suppose if it is automation, if you provide proper logic, tool can provide correct output every time. But human user may make mistakes in terms of complex calculations, etc. Tedious. Next, third one, some types of testing, impractical. Example, performance testing. Suppose we want to test any operation for 1,000 users, 10,000 users, arranging 10,000 missions and 10,000 human users, impractical. If it is automation, we can create virtual mission, virtual users. Using 2 or 3 missions, we can generate thousands of virtual users load. Next one, batch testing is not possible. For each and every test case execution, human user interaction is mandatory. Suppose if it is automation, we can form test batches we can create test batches without human user interaction. Tools can execute series of tests. But in manual testing, for each and every test case execution, user interaction is mandatory. In automation, optional. Next, one more thing. Comparing large amount of data is impractical. Suppose I have to compare two databases, each database having 5,000 records. Comparing large amount of data is impractical. If it is automation, tool is software, it can compare. Next, checking GUI object sizes, color combinations is difficult in manual testing. Next, one more important thing, testing same operations with multiple sets of test data. The term is data-driven testing, time-taking process. If it is automation, tool can execute quickly. And one more important thing, manual test case scope is limited. Means human user can concentrate on one or two verification points only. Human user can concentrate on one or two verification points at a time. If it is automation, tool is software, tool can concentrate on multiple verification points at a time. Example, you can insert 20, 30 conditional statements, 20, 30 loop statements. Tool can concentrate. Final conclusion, automated test scope is very high than manual test case. Suppose in manual, suppose we have 700 test cases. For automation, 700 tests not required. You can cover 700 cases in 200 automated tests. Example, see, automated test scope is very high than manual test case. See, these are the important disadvantages of manual testing. Now, tell me, Nirmala, list out the disadvantages of manual testing. List out.
Is it expensive for every corporation to incorporate it?
Expensive. Expensive is different. Okay.
Okay.
Nearly 6-7 disadvantages I explained. Okay, you put mute. Tell me, Vijaya. Put mute, Nirmala. Vijaya Lakshmi. Tell me.
Yeah. I think one of the other disadvantage apart from what I told is data-driven. You mentioned about data-driven testing, right? So we can test with multiple sets of data. That's one advantage of automation where you cannot do that, whereas you cannot do that with manual.
We can do in manual testing, but time-taking process.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's time-taking, but in automation it's faster. And and the other disadvantage you mentioned was when you want to compare large sets of data, like, database, when you actually migrate data or you want to compare databases. That's when automation is really useful. That's one advantage you told, and that's a disadvantage for manual where you cannot do that, or you can do that but it's time consuming.
Okay.
Whereas in automation it's much faster. So that was one, and regression I already mentioned. That was one. And the scope of automation is much higher than compared to manual testing. That's one more thing. And when you said scope, you mentioned that probably the coverage would be much faster in automation rather than in manual is what you mentioned. So.
And one more also. This one. Some types of testing impractical in using manual.
Yes. Now I recollect. You mentioned about GUI testing where you can, if you want to compare, different colors or,
Okay, color combinations, font size, alignments, that is secondary. Primary is performance testing.
Okay.
Performance testing is impractical using manual testing methodologies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, these are the disadvantages. See, once again, put mute, all of you put mute before moving to next topic. Just once again. Manual testing, time consuming process, time taking process. It takes more time or more resources. Suppose if you want to finish testing quickly, you want to arrange more human resources and environmental resources. It takes more time or more resources. Sometimes both. That is one disadvantage. Second one, accuracy. Human users may make mistakes in terms of complex calculations, etc. But if you provide proper logic, tool can provide correct output every time. Next, third one, some types of testing impractical using manual testing methodologies. Example, performance testing. Next, comparing large amount of data, comparing two databases or comparing Excel file data with database data, etc. Impractical. If it is automation, tool can compare. Next, verifying GUI objects, color combinations, etc. Some difficulty in manual testing. Next, batch testing, executing series of tests, time taking, and for every test case execution, human user interaction is mandatory. If it is automation, without human user interaction, tool can execute series of tests. Next, testing same operations with multiple sets of test data is time-taking process in manual testing. If it is automation, if you can use resource. Resource means test data file. Tool can execute quickly. Next, one more important thing, scope means coverage. Manual test case scope is limited. Why? Human users can't concentrate on multiple verification points at a time. Only one or two verification points at a time. If it is automation, tool is software, you can insert 20, 30 verification points, 20, 30 conditional statements and loop statements. Tool can concentrate. See, these are the major disadvantages of manual testing. Aarti, shall we move to next topic?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay,
Got it.
cool. Next, advantage of test automation. Advantage of test automation. Tell me, Rajiv, what are the advantages of test automation?
It's error free if you can give the logic properly. It is error free and takes less time for execution. And repetitive tests, easy to do it in automation test. And I think some of the disadvantages, whatever we said in.
Okay, quite opposite to disadvantages of manual testing. Okay, Harmit, can you tell me one or two advantages of test automation? Harmit Singh.
Yes. Pretty much the complete opposite of what the disadvantages are. It doesn't require any human interaction, so you can run the scripts overnight. In our company, that's what we do. Run the scripts overnight and let them execute for 2-3 hours.
Okay.
And then get full results afterwards.
Okay. See, as per industry, as well as HP documentation, there are 6 advantages. First one, fast. What is fast? Tools are faster in test execution than human users. See, in software testing, 2 important tasks. One is test design Another is test execution. In case of test design, tools are not faster. Why? For test design, user interaction, user means tester. Tester interaction is mandatory. Tool, tool provides necessary interface. A tool provides IDE and supports programming logic, but user interaction mandatory. User instructions mandatory. User has to generate test or test scripts. So, in case of test design, tools are not faster. Sometimes automated test design takes more than manual test case design. But in case of test execution, tools are faster. Without human user interaction, tools can execute tests. Okay, anyhow, final conclusion. Test design, one-time activity. Okay, modifications might be there, but most of the time, test design, one-time activity, but test execution multiple times. So definitely we can save the time. Okay, tools are faster in test execution than human users. Next, accuracy. Already in disadvantages of manual testing we discussed. Accuracy. See, if we provide proper logic, tool can provide correct output every time. But in case of manual testing, human user may make mistakes. Next, important thing, reusable. Reusable. We can reuse our tests and components. Reusable components means functions, etc. We can reuse our tests and components on different versions of software. Example, sanity tests. What is sanity testing? Verifying whether the build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests. See, sanity tests that we have to execute on every build. So multiple times execution. If it is manual testing, time consuming. If it is automation, once you design sanity tests, you can execute, tool can execute multiple times. And one more area, regression tests. Regression tests also multiple times. Say, one difference is there in between sanity tests and regression tests. Most of the time sanity tests constant, fixed, but regression tests dynamic, depends on strength of development team and complexity of the application. Regression tests, tests that we have to execute on every modified build. Sanity tests, tests that we have to execute on every build. Next, repeatable. Repeatable. What is repeatable? See, don't confuse, reusable is different, repeatable is different. What is repeatable? Testing same operations using multiple sets of test data. Testing same operations using multiple sets of test data. Term is data driven. Data driven tests. Say, if it is manual testing, time taking. If it is automation, you can prepare test data using any resource, text file or Excel file or database file. If you connect test data with the test, if you connect test data with the test script, tool can execute quickly. Okay, data driven testing. You know what is data driven testing? Testing same operations using multiple sets of test data. Okay, my question is, why data driven testing? Suppose for one input, my application is responding fine. Why we need to test with multiple inputs? Vaishali, did you understand my question?
No, I did not.
See, you know what is data-driven testing? What is data-driven testing? Tell me. Ours is interactive program. You need to answer my questions, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Okay, okay.
What is data-driven testing? Just concentrate. Tell me, Vijaya, what is data-driven testing? 2, 3.
You test with multiple sets of data. The same operation you repeat with multiple sets of data.
Multiple sets of test data. Okay, that is over. Why data-driven testing? Means suppose for one input my application is responding fine. Operations are working fine. Why we need to test multiple inputs? Why we need to test with multiple inputs?
So there could be different combinations, right? Like, if you ask me, like, I would go back to your boundary value analysis, partitioning, right?
Classes,
yeah.
All are test design techniques. Why we use test design techniques? In order to reduce the input domain. Exhaustive testing is practical. Testing with all possible. 1 minute. Testing with all possible inputs and preconditions impractical. That's why we follow test design techniques. That is different concept.
So,
that is different.
No, I know that's a different concept, but in boundary value analysis, what do you test for? Like, you test for the different boundaries.
Why boundary value analysis?
Pardon me? Why
boundary value analysis? Suppose
it says there is an input field which accepts 1 to 1,000 numbers. You don't want to sit there and test with each and every number, right, from 1 to 1,000. So you divide your boundaries, like, 0, 1 and 2, probably that's one boundary.
Okay.
And the other boundary would be 998,000 and, about 1,000, 1 or something. That's your another boundary, right?
Yeah,
so that's how you divide your boundaries.
1 minute, you are explaining. You are explaining more. But that much of explanation not required. It's very simple. Why data-driven testing? For positive and negative testing. For positive and negative testing, isn't it?
Okay.
Suppose for valid inputs, my application is responding fine. What about handling of invalid inputs? It has to accept valid inputs and prevent invalid inputs. See, the primary purpose of data-driven testing is positive and negative testing. It is very simple. Enough.
Okay. Yeah, you said the same thing, but in a different, in simple words probably. Because when I said boundaries, I meant to say, when you are going into negative numbers, that's nothing but, you're testing for negative testing, right? Okay, but I got it. It's positive testing and negative.
Positive and negative testing. The primary purpose of data-driven testing is positive and negative testing. And secondary purpose also there. Checking the reliability of the system. System means your application under test. System has several meanings. General meaning, system means computer hardware and software. In our testing area, system means application under test. Checking the reliability of the system. By executing, okay, put mute, all of you put mute, somebody to make noise. By executing same tests again and again, same operations again and again, we can check the reliability of the system. See, in internet you can find some applications suppose if you execute same operations again and again, some applications may hang. Hanging application is not reliable application. It has to respond every time. So, primary purpose of data-driven testing is positive and negative testing. Secondary purpose, checking the reliability of the system. Okay. Next, programmable. See, in disadvantage of manual testing chapter, indirectly we covered advantage of test automation also. Programmable. See, test tools support programming logic. We can apply programming logic to our tests so that tool can concentrate on multiple verification points at a time. Say, you can insert 20, 30 verification points. Tool is software. It can concentrate. See, not only verification points, you can use scripting logic for error handling and some built-in functions available in our VB script. Not only in VB script, you take any tool, every tool supports any one or more scripting languages. Suppose Selenium. In Selenium, you can use Java or C# or Perl script or Python script or Ruby script. In UFT tool, VB script. Every tool supports programming logic. Not only inserting verification points, we can use programming features for error handling and some built-in functions available. You can use those built-in functions. We can use all programming features, variables, constants, operators, conditional statements, loop statements, built-in functions, user-defined functions, all. So, programmable. This is one of the advantage. In case of manual testing, only thinking, reasoning. Thinking, reasoning. With documentation also one of the concept. But in case of automation, programmable. What is the advantage of using programming features? We can insert multiple verification points. And you can use built-in functions, variables, constants, operators, all programming features you can use. Next, comprehensive means completeness. Say, automation tools support batch testing. We can create test batches. Tool can execute series of tests without human user interaction. See, these 6 are the important advantages of test automation. Just Hermet, tell me, what is fast? See, first advantage, here no sequence, all are independent things. First I explained fast. Fast is one of the advantages of test automation. What is fast?
Fast execution time.
Test execution.
And on the other end of that
okay.
spectrum would be slow design and creation time.
Test execution faster. Next, tell me, Vaishali.
It's more accurate.
Accurate than human users. If you provide proper logic, tool can provide correct output every time. Next, R3, reusable.
Yeah, reusable, yeah. Sanity test and there is a regression test.
We can reuse our tests and components on different versions of software.
Yes.
If it is manual testing, every time human user interaction required, time taking process. Here, if it is automation, once you design test, tool can execute multiple times. Next, repeatable. Raju, what is repeatable?
Testing same operations with multiple set of data.
What is the term? Data-driven testing. Okay. Next, Mohan Raj Narayan Swami, programmable. Mohan Raj Narayan Swami. Udayasri, you tell me, what is programmable?
We can program the script in, like we can insert multiple verification points where manually you can't have more than 1 or 2 verification points. And we can use different
we can use all programming features in our tests, isn't it? We can use all programming features in our tests, not only inserting verification points, error handling. Next, you can use variables for storing data. You can use constants, operators, conditional statements, loop statements for repetitive execution. Next, built-in functions. Next, user-defined functions, etc. Next, comprehensive. Vijaya, comprehensive, completeness.
We can support batches. I mean, in automation, you can run the tests in batches.
Tool supports batch testing. Tool support batch testing without human user interaction. Tool can execute series of tests easily. See, user can create test batches without human user interaction. Tools can execute test batches. Okay, these are the important advantages. Next, third topic, disadvantages. Tell me, Anmol, disadvantage of test automation.
We cannot automate all area of the software.
We cannot
It is
automate
expensive
all
also.
area.
Moreover, it needs experience or expertise, and not everything can be automated. That means we cannot test everything.
Already you covered that one. Okay. Harmit Singh, you tell me one or two disadvantages of test automation.
If you're building a new application or you're working on an agile where requirements are always changing, you have to constantly update the scripts.
Constantly updating the script. If it is manual testing, in manual testing also updations required, na?
Yeah, that's true. You have to update the
Suppose if any changes in requirements or any other things, in manual testing also modifications required. You have to modify your test cases. Okay, say first one. See, some people saying expensive. That is not correct actually. If we use tools in proper manner, definitely we can reduce the human resources and environmental resources. Expensive is not correct. Important one. 100% test automation is not possible. 100% test automation is not possible. Next, all types of testing is not possible. Impractical. Example, usability testing. Only human user can judge look and feel aspects. Tools can't judge. Usability testing. Next, here, scripting or programming knowledge required. What is the difference between scripting and programming? That we will discuss in VB script chapter. See, lack of knowledge also one of the disadvantage. See, if it is manual testing, programming knowledge not mandatory, not required. Only thinking, reasoning, documentation. But if it is automation, programming knowledge is required. Otherwise, you can use just tool features, record and playback features. If you know programming, you can create efficient tests. See, tool is weapon. If we use tool in proper manner, you can get desired benefits. Otherwise, unnecessary time waste, money waste. Next, one more important thing, debugging issues. What is debugging? What are the debugging issues that we will discuss in debugging test chapter? Just a brief idea. This debugging is development term. It is not testing term. we use scripting language in our test automation, so we must familiar with this debugging term. What is debugging? Locating and isolating errors. Locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution. Sometimes locating errors is difficult. Actually, debugging is not mandatory, optional, but sometimes required. When? See, I will explain three scenarios, concentrate. First scenario, test is not showing any errors and providing correct result, desired result. Debugging not required. Second scenario, test is showing errors. If test shows errors, definitely you cannot expect the correct output. First rectify the errors. Most of the time you can get correct output. Third scenario, typical scenario, test is not showing any errors and not providing correct output. See, in this scenario, debugging is required. Observe Vaishali, test is not showing any errors and not providing correct output. When that type of situation occurs, suppose at one point of time you have to use x equal to a plus b. As per your test requirement, this is the desired formula. Suppose mistakenly if we use multiplication operator instead of addition operator, is it syntax error or runtime error? No. It is human error. Script point of view, it is not error, but your test requirement point of view, it is error. It is problem. See, as per this operator, tool evaluates, but you can't get desired output. No error, no correct output. See, this type of situations, debugging is required. See, sometimes debugging is difficult process. Locating errors difficult. At the point, Vaishali, when debugging is required, tell me. When
Required when and there is an error in writing the scriptures or writing the formulas, and your test is not showing, the correct results.
Concentrate, Vaishali, concentrate. You tell me, Aarti, when debugging is required?
When testing is not showing any errors.
Test, not testing. Test or test script.
Other one is a test shows an error.
I am not asking another one. Just when debugging is required. Very simple. Whenever test is not showing any errors and not providing correct output, there debugging is required. Okay, na? Next.
Okay.
Any other? Tell me, Anmol. Any other disadvantages? You tell me, Vijaya. You have some experience in QTP also, na? Okay. Anyhow, it is general topic. Any other disadvantages? And one more thing, automation takes more efforts at initial stage. Automation takes more efforts at initial stage. If it is manual testing, you can quickly design tests. If it is automation, more efforts required at initial stage. Once you design test, then execution easy. So, not recommended for short-term projects. Not recommended for short-term projects. Why? More efforts required at initial stage. Next, Harmit Singh, tell me anyone? Anyone disadvantage of test automation?
That we haven't covered so far.
Okay, one more thing. See, when it comes to functional test automation, our tool EFT is functional test tool. functional test tools are object-based tools. Based on front-end objects, they perform test operations. But some exception is there for database testing. For database testing, no front-end object required. EFT has integrated SQL engine. It can communicate directly with databases. For remaining operations, front-end object reference required. Suppose edit box, dialog box, list box, radio button, check box. If it is web environment, browser, page, link, image, etc. Suppose if user interface is changing dynamically, that time automation takes more time. So, not recommended for dynamically changing UI designs. See, sometimes in product development, companies finalize functionality, but they frequently change that one, UI design, user interface design. After getting feedback from existing customers or model customers, they finalize. So, not recommended for dynamically changing UI, user interface designs. Next, one more thing. Tools. Tool is software. Tool also software. It might have own defects. In UFT also some defects are there. Sometimes we may not get desired benefits as per vendor. See, tools may have their own defects. So sometimes we may not get desired benefits.
But you find the same issue with humans, right? You could be hungover and not.
Yes. In manual testing also that same problem is there. That problem is different. This problem is different. This problem is software problem, development problem, software development problem. Suppose suppose UFT also having 2 or 3 defects. That is HP vendor problem. Okay, but accuracy is human user psychological problem. Okay, now TDS actually, TDS etc. Isn't it?
Correct.
Okay, and one more important thing. See, functional test automation tools, object-based test tools, technology bounded. Suppose if you want to test Java application, Java add-in required, .NET application, .NET add-in required, SAP application, SAP add-in required. See, by default, UFT won't support all industry-leading technologies. Based on add-ins only, it supports. Already I told, if you want to test Java application, Java add-in required. After loading Java add-in, only UFT can recognize Java application objects. For some technologies, no add-ins available. Okay, UFT is providing add-ins for all industry-leading technologies, but not for all technologies. See, tools are technology bounded. Suppose if it is manual testing, irrespective of the technology, user means tester can apply testing methodologies. If it is Java application or SAP application or PeopleSoft application or .NET application, testing same. Okay, nowadays some are saying SAP testing, mainframes testing, meaning awareness on that environment. Awareness is required. Suppose if you want to test Java or .NET application, those are general applications. If you want to test SAP application, you have some awareness on that ERP package. If you want to test mainframe application, you must have some awareness on mainframe environment. See, manual testing. In case of manual testing, technology not considerable factor most of the time. Irrespective of the technology, you can apply testing methods. But if it is tool, technology bounded, if you want to test Java application, Java add-in required, .NET application, .NET add-in required. Suppose one small example, D2K. D2K is one of the programming language. It has IDE, Developer 2000, as like VB. No add-in available for D2K. In UFT tool, no add-in available for D2K environment. At the point, Vijaya, did you understand this last one? Tools are technology bounded. Pardon?
I did.
Okay, cool. What about you, Vaishali? You are not following, Vaishali. What is technology bounded? Technology dependent.
Yeah.
What is the problem with this concept? See, in UFT also, for all technologies, add-ins not available, isn't it?
Right.
Suppose if you want to test VB application, VB add-in available. .NET add-in available. Java add-in available. Suppose if you want to test D2K application using UFT tool, no D2K add-in in UFT. If it is manual testing, irrespective of the technology, you can apply testing methods. See, these are the important disadvantages of test automation. Tell me, Uday, before moving to next topic, tell me one by one, what are the disadvantages of test automation?
Yes, sir. Test automation, 100% automating the test is not possible because there are some types of testing like usability testing and the test which needs to be...
Don't mix the concepts.
Okay,
100% testing is not possible, means generally we try to automate maximum level, not all test cases, not all areas of application. Okay, some observation cases are there. Human user interaction is mandatory for some cases. The meaning 100% test automation not possible. Generally we try to automate maximum level. All types of testing is not possible. That is another concept. Okay?
Okay.
Continue. Third one.
And we need expertise and experience to automate to create a script in CTP. And this is a functional test tool which is based on the UI object. And the UI object, UI design.
Again, redesign. So time taking. Okay, so not recommended for dynamically changing UI designs. Next.
Yes. And it's the tool is technology bounded. We need add-ins for working on different applications developed based on different technologies.
Good.
Like for Java, we need Java add-ins, etc. And we have some debugging issues.
Sometimes locating errors difficult.
Yeah, when we have no errors and when we don't get a correct output.
And one more thing.
Tools may also have defects.
Tools may have their own defects. So sometimes we may not get desired benefits. Okay. Yes. And one more thing. Not recommended for short-term projects.
Short-term.
Why? More efforts required
because it requires more effort and more time in the initial stages.
Design. Okay, so not recommended for short-term project. Vaishali, okay na? Shall we move to next topic?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. See, so far we discussed three concepts in this introduction chapter. First one, disadvantage of manual testing. Second one, advantage of test automation. Third one, disadvantage of test automation. Next, one more general topic, types of test tool. Types of test tool. If somebody is making noise, put mute. If you want to ask any question, unmute and ask. Again put mute. See, basically we have three types of tools in the industry. And one more thing, I will explain tools in two categories. Tools same, but I will cover tools in two different angles. First one, business classification. First one, business classification. Second one, technical classification. See, tools are same, but we will discuss tools in two different angles. See, first, business classification. See, in business classification, we can segregate tools in three categories. First one, vendor tools. Vendor tools. See, some companies develop tools and some companies develop tools for commercial use. Anybody can purchase license. Vendor provides technical support also as per agreements. See, if it is industrial product, manufacturing, but software develops. Here no manufacturing term. Software develops. Suppose automobiles, manufacturing. Okay, vendor tools. Vendor tools means companies develop tools for commercial use. Anybody can buy the license. Vendor provides license as well as technical support. See some important vendors for test tools. One is HP, Hewlett Packard. HP has suite of tools. See, WinRunner. It is also functional and regression tool. WinRunner scrapped. Now no WinRunner, scrapped. Next, same XRunner also they released. WinRunner, Win for Windows, XRunner for Unix. XRunner also scrapped. Next, LoadRunner for performance testing, still in live, nearly 17 years completed. Next, Quick Test Pro, QTP, retired. See, retirement, software retirement also real-time term. See, QTP retired and UFT launched. UFT, new launch of QTP. UFT, Unified Functional Testing. Why they changed the name instead of using new version numbers? Suppose last version of QTP 11, next version UFT 11.5.
So they could charge more money.
Pardon?
So they could charge more money?
No. Reason also there. Anyhow, changing product name, it is a right of vendor, but here reason also there. UFT means not only QTP. UFT equal to QTP plus service tools. QTP supports only GUI testing, means testing of Windows and web-based applications. UFT supports API testing also, application programming interface, but most of the companies using for GUI testing. UFT equal to QTP plus service tools. UFT, Unified Functional Testing. Entire user interface also changed. In QTP we have 10 menus. In UFT 12 menus. See, UFT, Unified Functional Testing. What is the difference between UFT and QTP, Vaishali? Difference?
It's QDP plus service tools.
Good. New launch. Next. Test Director. Test management tool from HP. Retired. See, Test Director retired. Test Director developed in C++ technology. Next, new launch of Test Director Quality Center developed in J2EE technology. Quality Center. Now Quality Center also enhanced. Now new name of Quality Center, ALM, Application Lifecycle Management. See, these are the HP suite of tools. Next, one more suite. Can you tell me, Vijaya, any other vendor tools, famous vendor tools? IBM also having some test tools, na?
Yeah, maybe ClearQuest and Reusable.
See, old one, now retired. Rational Robot, as like Windrunner, retired. Next, RFT, Rational Functional Tester. Next, RPT, Rational Performance Tester, etc. Next, one more vendor, important one, Borland, now take over by Micro Focus. Micro Focus. See, first vendor SIG, next take over by Borland, now current vendor Micro Focus. HP also, actually previous vendor Mercury Interactive. Micro Focus, Silk Test. Next, Silk Performer, it is for performance testing, etc. See, these are the important vendor tools. Next, another category, open source tools. Open source. See, source code available on net. Anybody can download and use. Source code available on net, anybody can download and use. Can you give one or two examples, Vaishali? Open source test tools.
It's Selenium, I think.
Selenium for functional testing.
And Jira.
Jira, Selenium for
Java.
testing.
Selenium for Java.
Java is programming language in Selenium. You can use Java as programming language. Selenium. Next, JMeter for performance testing. Next, Bugzilla is for defect management, etc. See, source code available on it, anybody can download and use. If anybody having programming knowledge, they can modify the source code also. Next, third one, in-house tools. See, some companies develop tools for internal use, private use, not for commercial use. Example, Microsoft developed so many tools for internal use. Tool names also local, not visible outside of the company. And one more, and Oracle Corporation also developed so many test tools for internal use, private use. See, these three are the important categories in business classification. Same tools, I will cover tools in another angle, technical classification. In this classification, we can segregate tools in different categories. One is functional and regression. Functional and regression test tools. Next, okay, examples, functional and regression test tools. HP, UFT, next IBM, RFT, Rational Functional Tester, next Selenium, Silk Test, Test Complete, Test Partner, etc. Next, performance test tools. See, some are calling load test tools. See, one simple question, Armit Singh, load testing, performance testing. What is the difference? What is the difference? Load testing, performance testing. What is the difference?
I would have to guess. Performance testing involves and how many simultaneous users you could possibly have before the system slows down and how it functions. And load is how much load the system can handle before it crashes.
Okay. See, any idea, Vijay Lakshmi? Any idea difference between performance testing and load testing?
I think what Hamid has said is what I'm thinking too.
See, footnote. Load testing, stress testing, performance, load testing, stress testing, endurance testing, spike testing, all are subsets of performance testing. Load testing, spike testing, stress testing, endurance testing, all are subsets of performance testing. Next, test management tools. Test management tools. ALM, next Jira, Rational QA Director, etc.
There is an open source tool also called TestLink.
So many tools available.
Yeah.
Next, defect management tools. Only for defect management. Example, Bugzilla, Issue Tracker, PR Tracker, Problem Report Tracker, etc.
Real quick, what's the difference between test management and defect management?
I will explain. I'm going to explain that concept only. See, first consider, okay, other categories also there, security test tools, etc. But our program point of view, our training program point of view, awareness on these four categories enough. These are important categories. Say, first two categories, functional and regression test tools and performance tools. First two categories, automation tools. Last two categories, management tools. What is the difference between automation tools and management tools? Automation tools interact with our software applications. Suppose UFT executes our application. In order to recognize the application, technology compatible files, nothing but add-ins required in UFT, protocols required in load runner, ODBC, JDBC, HTTPS, etc. Automation tools, first two categories, functional and performance test tools. Automation tools. Automation tools interact with software applications. Last two categories, management tools. Management tools don't interact with software applications. If it is Java application or SAP application, you can use ALM or Jira, etc. See, irrespective of the technology, you can use management tools. Why? Here, no interaction with software application, no interaction with our applications. See, management tools only for documentation and for generating reports. They won't interact with software applications. So, technology compatible files not required. If it is Java application or PeopleSoft application, you can use ALM or Jira or Bugzilla. Find the difference between these two things. What is your good name? Harmit. Find the difference between these two automation tools and management tools. Tell me, what is the difference between automation tools and management tools?
Automation do not require interaction with the software application.
Yes, automation tools interact with software applications. In order to interact with software application, in UFT, add-ins required, environment compatible files. In load runner, protocols required. But test management tools don't interact with software applications. They only for documentation and for generating reports. Okay now? Next, when it comes to third and fourth, test management tools, defect management tools. What is the difference? Can you tell me, Vijaya Lakshmi? What is the difference between test management tools and defect management tools?
Yeah, in test management, you actually can manage your requirements, your test cases and everything. And whereas in defect management, it's strictly for defects.
Yes. Say, final conclusion, defect management is part of test management. Okay, put mute, I will explain. See, Singh, you asked her now. Defect management, test management, Harmit.
Yeah.
See, find the difference. Test management tools. They put mute, somebody to make noise. Just listen.
Yeah, so test management tools are going to do more than just track the defect.
1 minute.
They're going to
test management tools
support requirements and do documentations, reporting and such.
1 minute. Test management tools support requirements management, test design, test execution, and defect management. And in addition, traceability also. But whereas defect management tools support only defect management, defect reporting and tracking. Final conclusion, defect management is part of test management. Okay na? Any confusion? Harmit?
No, none. Clear.
See. Now before moving to next topic, tell me, Vaishali, what is the difference between test management tools and defect management tools?
Defect management tools are part of test management tools.
Not part of tools. Concept, defect management is part of test management. Don't confuse.
Yeah.
Defect management tools not part of test management tools.
Okay, I got it.
See, continue.
The defect management tools strictly gives us the defect.
Defect management tools support defect management only. Means defect reporting and tracking. Whereas test management tools support all aspects of application life cycle. Requirements management, test design, test execution, defect management, in addition, traceability. Okay?
Yeah.
Next, come to next topic. See, so far we discussed 4 concepts. One is disadvantage of manual testing. Next, advantage of test automation. Next, disadvantage of test automation. Fourth one, types of